SummerSlam 2025 live from New Jersey. And as a Queens native and current Queens resident, it is nice to, because I'm pretty sure all the wrestlers are staying in Manhattan, so it would have been nice to go to Manhattan to actually, get a chance to see them or, take pictures or interview them. But I digress, because I was working, doing other things, and I was also doing my coverage for New York Swim Week. So go on my YouTube channel and check out all the videos that I posted from my time from the New York Swim Week Fashion Week show. So now on to the wrestling. And before we get started, hit the notification bell, like it or subscribe. The show kicked off. For some reason, I don't like the arena. I don't like, because it's SummerSlam. It's the first two-night SummerSlam. The stage looked bland as hell. Like there was no theme. There was nothing. It was just, that shit was just trash. It just looked like, it didn't even look like they were in New York. Like they could have been anywhere. Which is like weird to me. Cardi B came out, nobody cared. like nobody cared, and then she didn't do anything. And it's like she didn't even perform. Like if she would have performed a song or something before the show started, I don't hate Cardi B. I'm not a fan of hers either. I'm just like whatever. But I'm like, if you're gonna be there, do something besides talk with a big ass black dress on. And I'm keep saying this. We had a 3-hour pre-show. We didn't get a pre-show match. We could have had Zelina Vega versus Julia. The New Day could have fought for the World Tag Team Championships. Like the Judgment Day wasn't here. I'm like we could have had a pre-show match. We could have had a pre-show match. Anyway, so the show starts with the first match. Surprisingly, the tag team match between Jey Uso, Roman Reigns, Braun Breaker, and Big Bronson Reed. So this was the opening match, and I think this is the first time, I swear to God, I think this is the first time in like 10 years Roman Reigns opened a show. Like, he wasn't the main event, because I thought they were going to make the tag match the main event. He wasn't the main event. He was actually the opener of the show. And he, and him and Jey Uso, so the energy for Jey Uso's entrance from New York was very lackluster, so that was disappointing. But this match to me was a passing of the torch moment. There was a moment where Roman Reigns tried to fly over the top rope and he almost killed himself because he overshot it and kind of like jumped over everybody. Bronson Reed kind of did the same thing. He tried to do a suicide dive, and I think he overshot it a little bit. There was a moment during the match where, after they had knocked the heels out of the ring, both Roman and Jey told the crowd to run it back and to try to do the Eve thing. But the story that they were trying to tell, Paul Heyman didn't do anything. Paul Heyman didn't do jack shit. But they were basically just trying to tell the story like it's not about Roman anymore. Like there's new people, like there's new blood. It's about the future. And there was a moment during the match where Jey Uso, he was in prime position to get speared by Braun Breaker. And Braun Breaker did a funny thing too, because usually before he hits the spear, he takes the straps down, off his singlet, a la Kurt Angle. And then he did and Kurt Angle did this once too a long time ago. There was a moment where like he had taken the straps off because he was going for a spear and he didn't get the spear. So then later on, when he was like all hyped and he was pumped up and he was gonna hit Jey Uso with the spear again, he put his straps back on and then took them off again. But then when he went to spear Jey Uso, Roman pushed him out of the way, and Braun Breaker speared Roman Reigns, which allowed Jey Uso to super kick Braun Breaker, hit a spear and a splash on Big Bronson Reed, and then Jey Uso got the victory, and he got the 1-2-3, and him and Roman Reigns won the match. Now, a few things about this that stood out to me. One, Roman didn't take his sneakers back. Two, Roman Reigns did not get the pin. He was not the one that won the match for his team. If anything, it was his sacrifice for Jey Uso that allowed the team to win, that allowed the team to obtain victory. So to me, this was very telling that we're kind of phasing Roman Reigns out, and the torch is being passed. Like, he needs to pass the torch because his time is coming to an end. It's like he doesn't show up enough as it is, so why is he the one getting all the pins and getting all the victories and being made to look good? It's like, put other people over, and he's doing that, and I'm happy to see that he's doing that. So, kudos to main event Jey Uso, and, for Roman Reigns, I hope he got his shoes back. I didn't like the outcome, though, because honestly, if you're trying to elevate Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, they should have won this match. And then Roman was just jaw-jacketed Paul Heyman, and then that was pretty much it. Nothing pretty much, came out of that. There wasn't even any eating. Roman sold the hell out of that spear, though. But like I said, we'll see where it goes, because now that it's over, we're not going to see Roman Reigns again probably till Survivor Series. So Roman's out of the picture now, so we'll see what Jey Uso does with the bronze. And Roman's not even a Raw guy anyway, so he wouldn't even be a part of that feud. But like I said, good opening match, surprising opening match to SummerSlam. So the next match was the women's tag team match. Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. And this was also a surprise because we have a two-night SummerSlam. 2 nights of SummerSlam action. And Charlotte Flair and Roman Reigns opened the show. Like, they were the first 2 matches of the night. So that's why. But again, we're moving on to new people. But with that being said, I didn't like the outcome of this match either. Like, the whole odd couple thing between Alexa, like, I don't care about Charlotte Flair, but the whole odd couple thing between Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, it is slightly interesting, but I don't like the fact that they put the belts on them so quickly, because they're just like, oh, because we're doing the odd couple thing, now that they're tag team champions, they can be a tag team champion odd couple, and you don't need the belts to do that, but and then it just seemed like, we're just giving Charlotte Flair titles just because I don't think she's ever been a tag champion, so we're just giving Charlotte titles just to say that she has titles. I like the team of Roxanne and Raquel, because we're still doing the Judgment Day storyline with her trying to take over while Liv Morgan is gone. And in order for Liv Morgan to come back and feud with Roxanne Perez, the Women's Tag Team Championships have to be a part of that. So I'm going to assume that Roxanne and Raquel will get the Women's Tag titles back at some point, which will break down the Alexa Bliss-Charlotte Flair dynamic. So we're going to get more of this will they, won't they team-up thing. There was a moment where Alexa Bliss accidentally punched Charlotte in the face, and then after they won the tag team championship, Charlotte was like, yo, bro, you hit me. But, it didn't turn into anything. Like, they ended up getting their hands raised. And I'm sorry, I don't care. Actually, I don't care. I don't care about them being tag team. I mean, when they do their backstage segments, I'll tune in to see, because that is, like I said, that is slightly entertaining. But I don't care about them being women's tag team champions, because they're actual, we killed the tag team division to an extent. So now the women's tag team division is basically made up of, when it's like, okay, we got these 2 girls in the world title program, we got these 2 girls in the mid title program. There are other 2 girls that have big names, but we don't have anything for them to do, so we'll just slap them together and just have them do the tag team. I don't like that. Like, we actually had real women's tag teams, and like Triple H killed it. But as I said, with Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, and and I like the new music with Raquel and Roxanne, but we'll see how long it takes for the 2 of them to get their belts back from Charlotte and Alexa. Because again, in order for the Judgment Day storyline to continue, the 2 of them have to be women's tag team champions for that. So we'll see what happens going forward. Ladies and gentlemen, Carrie Cross is at SummerSlam. The next match was Sami Zayn versus Carrie Cross with Charlotte. And I knew we were getting this match. I knew they announced this match. But it wasn't until Cross and Scarlett came on the stage, I was like, oh shit, Carrie Cross is at SummerSlam. And thank God, once again, they went back to their NXT entrance, which makes the presentation so much better. They came down to ringside looking like stars. The fans were actually, behind them. They were cheering them. Sami Zayn came out, and the story was basically, will Sami give it to the dark side? And there was a moment where Cross was like, he had the referee distracted, and then Scarlett, she gave the lead pipe to Sami and told Sami, she was like, oh, do it, feed into the darkness, embrace your darkness. And then here's the interesting thing about that. When Sami had the pipe in his hand, and he decided to not go for it, he decided to not give in to the darkness, and he threw the pipe down, and he told Scarlett to kiss his ass, the fans booed him. The fans were not... The New York crowd was kind of weird the whole night anyway, but the fans, they booed when Sami turned down the lead pipe. And then when he went for the haluva kick, there were groans coming from the audience like, oh, he's going to win now. And then Sami got the haluva kick. He got the 1-2-3 victory. And when he got the victory, the fans didn't react. They didn't cheer. Some of them booed. Like, some of them were like, waving their hands off and everything. The fans wanted Carrie Cross. The fans wanted Carrie Cross to get the victory, but they also wanted to see Sami Zayn embrace the darkness. So this was it was an interesting choice, because I would have had Carrie win the match, to be honest with you, because he's riding a wave of momentum, and I would have continued that, that wave of momentum. But they got to be careful here, because people are actually getting behind Cross and Scarlett again, and people are also getting tired of baby faces just not, taking the high road. They actually want to see, the good guy get his hands dirty sometimes. And now they're starting to turn against them. And see, and even yesterday with Cody Rhodes, when Cody and John Cena had their in-ring, like confrontation, and John Cena basically came out of nowhere and was like, oh, I know I told you guys to kiss off last week, but I'm sorry and I'm good again, and then everybody accepted that. And I was just like, no, like that was the most stupidest, weirdest face turn of all time. And I still feel like it wasn't, I feel like John Cena's still playing everybody. I still feel like he's gonna like kick Cody in the nuts or some shit and then tell the fans like, you were fooled, everybody was fooled. But Cody was smart in that moment because John Cena tricked the fans. Whether he was serious or whether he's tricking them, John Cena got the fans on his side when he turned face again. And the fans were like cheering, they were cheering. When Cody grabbed the mic to respond, the fans groaned as almost to say, well, we like John Cena now, so we don't want you to say anything bad about him. And Cody did the smartest thing he could do. He just said, welcome back, shook his hand, and he left. Because the people were ready to boo Cody if he said anything negative against John Cena in that moment. And now, like, Sami Zayn is in the same territory where he needs to be careful and tread lightly. But Sami Zayn picked up the victory. He defeated Karrion Kross. He told Karrion Kross it was over. So now we'll see, like how their feud and how their beef goes, or if it resumes. Or Kross is going to pick a new opponent on Monday Night Raw. Next up was the WWE Women's Championship, aka the least interesting title on both brands, on all four brands. I'm counting. I'm even counting Evolve. The WWE Women's Championship, Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill, and they. This was the best that Jade has looked in a one-on-one match, in one-on-one competition where she doesn't have a tag partner, there's no help, there's no one covering up. Jade actually looked supreme. She looked superb. Like, she looked like the star that we're all expecting her to be. And I don't know if the Naomi cash-in on Io Sky ended up changing things or changing a certain direction, but for whatever reason, despite the fact that Jade showed up and showed out, Triple H decided to keep the belt on the Plastic Princess, and Tiffany Stratton retained the WWE Women's Championship. There was a moment where Cargill went for Jaded. She hit her with Jaded, but then when she rolled her over too close to the ropes, and then her foot and I kind of like that because every time Jade does the Jaded and does the pin, she always pulls the person's like legs back really far. And then there were even moments where even at Queen of the Ring, she almost didn't get the 1-2-3 victory because like she pulled the person's legs back too far. And I like that they used that and played it into a finish where she pulled the girls because they're trying to play into the inexperience still of Jade Cargill, where like she pulled her legs back so far like she ended up putting her legs into the ropes. And I understand that Jade just, she just broke out into the singles. She hasn't been doing the singles that long, so maybe it's too soon to put the belt on her. But then with that being said, why give her the Queen of the Ring victory? The problem is Tiffany Stratton has been champion too long, and her run is boring as hell. Like, the Trish Stratus thing was trash. Like, nobody cared about her and Nia Jax. It was boring. Jade was the first thing about her storyline. Like, fighting Jade Cargill was the one piece of interest in her title reign since she's been champion. Like, nobody cared about her and Charlotte Flair. And it's just, and now it's like, now that Jade lost, what's gonna happen now? Like, who's Tiffany supposed to fight now? You can't fight Julia. She's doing something. I don't see the direction here. So the only thing I can think of at this point is that she's about to come back from that broken finger, and then Bianca's going to do something, and Bianca's going to end up challenging Tiffany Stratton for the Women's Championship. And if that happens, it's definitely over for Tiffany because you ain't beating no Bianca Belair. And then I guess if Bianca ends up defeating Tiffany for the WWE Women's Championship, then later on, I guess for Mania, we get Jade versus Bianca, and then Jade ends up beating Bianca, and then by then Jade would have had more reps under her belt in singles competition. But I'm just confused. It's like, I'm not a fan of Tiffany Stratton. Like, that's not a surprise. Like, she's bland, she's boring, she looks like every other blonde chick with fake on the entire roster. There's 5 girls in Evolve right now that look like Tiffany Stratton and act like Tiffany Stratton. There's like 3 girls on LFG that look and act like Tiffany Stratton. There's girls in NXT currently that look and act like Tiffany Stratton. There's nothing special about Tiffany Stratton. And I don't know why she's still holding on to the belt. Like this, I thought the Vince regime was dead. And I'm pretty sure it's probably Bruce Pritchard backstage just like, let's keep the belt on Tiffany Stratton. She's blonde, it's like, I don't know. But if we're gonna put the belt on her, for the love of God, like do something interesting with her to the point where I'm going to give a shit. Because right now I don't give a shit, and I don't even know where Jade goes from here. So see, and that's the problem. If Jade would have won the title, Jade could have opened up new feuds, new things, new storylines, and a storyline road that will lead her to Bianca Belair. Tiffany retaining, it's like now we're starting back at zero again. So they need to do something on Friday to spark interest in Tiffany Stratton's title reign, and they need to give Jade Cargill a direction. And I hope to God that's Bianca returning on Friday. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, disappointed in this match. Out of every match that that I watched so far, this was the most disappointing. Like, because it wasn't a bad match. Like, it definitely wasn't a bad match. And I love Jade in this match, but it was actually the most disappointing. I mean, I thought the Bronze should have won that tag team match, but I can kind of see why, the baby faces won the match. This one, I don't understand. Even the Sami Zayn, like, Sami shouldn't have won. Like, the choices that are being made tonight at SummerSlam are weird to me. But anyway, the Plastic Princess is still the women's champion, and like I said, we'll see what happens Friday on SmackDown. Then that followed that was the tag team celebrity match. Jesus Christ. Did anybody really care? Like, honestly, did anybody legitimately care? Logan Paul with Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton and Jelly Roll. No, I didn't care. Nobody cared. I'm sick of everybody singing Randy's theme music because it's not genuine anymore. It's not organic. They're just doing it because everybody else is doing it. That one country overseas did it because they genuinely wanted to do it, and now everyone is copying off of them. And and that's the one disappointing thing I will say about America, because we're supposed to be like the leaders, the trendsetters. Everybody's supposed to follow us. Now we're doing the chants that they do overseas, and I'm just like, it's so follow the leader. It's like, it's very sad. But one thing I will say about the match, because there's really not much to say about the match. For one of the few times I can remember, the celebrity didn't win. And thank God, because that was the right choice. Because Logan Paul was painting the whole thing about, like, he's the celebrity. Like, he's talking like he's the sports entertainer, and he's sick of all these outsiders and all these celebrities coming in thinking they can do what we do. And I'm like, bro, like, that's you. Like, but, and then it ended up him getting the pin off of Jelly Roll off of the Frog Splash. So I was happy to see that, because there's no way, I don't care, Jelly Roll shouldn't have won this shit. Even if Randy Orton's his tag team partner, they shouldn't have won this shit. The match was ridiculous. It didn't make sense. It was completely pointless. We're probably going to get Jelly Roll as a playable character in 2K26, but the right team won, which was Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul defeating Jelly Roll and Randy Orton. I don't care, and I'm glad Drew's back in the country, and now I want to see Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul do something else, because I'm sick of seeing this ridiculous foolishness. To me, aside from Lawrence Taylor, to me, like, the greatest celebrity wrestling person of all time was Stephen Amell, a.k.a. the Green Arrow, a.k.a. the GOAT of superhero television, especially at SummerSlam. So kudos, shout out to Stephen Amell, the Green Arrow, and we're moving on to the main event. And finally, the main event of night one of SummerSlam, rightfully so, CM Punk versus Herr Gunther. And before I even get, because this actually saved the show, before I even get into the aftermath, yeah, first of all, applause to Gunther and CM Punk. And for the love of God, thank you for giving us a wrestling match. Like, thank you for giving us a classic wrestling match. No tables, no ladders, no chairs, no furniture, no exploding fire, hand grenades, and none of this stupid bullshit. It was just two guys in the ring, mano-a-mano, one-on-one, beating the tar out of each other. Because the psychology of it was Punk was going to maneuver everything he could to not take the chops and to not take certain offense from Gunther. He blocked the chops on several occasions, which was very good. It was very strategic. But for the love of God, when Gunther finally hit him with that first shot, like, like you felt that in the core of your soul. He beat his ass. Like, Gunther beat his ass throughout the entire match. He beat his ass to the point where, like, Michael Cole even said, I agree. Like, he was like, I don't even know if Punk knows where he is. Like, I don't even know if Punk knows what day it is. Like, he doesn't know which way is up. My man got his ass whooped by Gunther. But towards the end of the match, see, and this is where Gunther always makes his mistake, because whenever he's like got someone down, whenever he's beating the shit out of somebody, whenever he's he's got the upper hand, he always taunts them. He always panders to the crowd. But thankfully, like AJ Lee wasn't in the audience, because he would have walked over to her and started talking shit, and that's where Gunther always goes wrong. And they had a call that, first of all, I felt like Bret Hart produced this match, like the way a lot of the offense and a lot of like the sequences were going. But they even made a callback to WrestleMania when Drew McIntyre fought Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship, and CM Punk, and then Drew McIntyre won the match, and then CM Punk ripped him off the announce table when he fell off the announce table. They did that exact same thing here, where Gunther was basically, pandering to the audience, and, he was like taunting the audience, and then CM Punk came and ripped him off the table, and Gunther fell off the table. But then when Gunther got up, he was bleeding, so the story was he was busted wide open when he fell off the table, and then after that, like, he couldn't see because there was blood in his eye, he was disorientated. He had one last ditch effort, because he did try to put the sleeper hold at one point, but it didn't work. Punk managed to, rally and come back, get some offense on him, hit him with the GTS. Gunther stayed on his feet, he staggered a little bit, then he hit him with another GTS, and then Gunther eventually fell, and then Punk landed on top of him, and then Punk got the 1-2-3 victory. So CM Punk, congratulations, after a classic main event SummerSlam match, is the new World Heavyweight Champion. And half of New Jersey, New York City, Tri-State, half of the arena was basically hating. Like, people were chanting CM Punk, but there was one guy with a blue shirt who was noticeably, like, putting up, like, thumbs down. Like, I don't know what his problem is. But, but the cheers I felt were louder than, like, the boos. I think people were probably expecting maybe something other than the two GTSs. But that's the thing. This isn't, like, AEW. Like, this isn't, AAA. Like, everything can't be like some magical 450, 720, 980 splash through glass and through like sometimes people just get beat. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people just normally get beat. You're bleeding, and that was a real thing. Like, you're bleeding, your face is bleeding. When you get cut wide open, you lose, like, you're disorientated, like, you lose your whereabouts, you lose your bearings. And then they were saying, like, he may have broke his nose. He took 2 GTSs to the face. So I'm like, what else would y'all want to Punk to run him over with a chuck? But he got the victory. CM Punk is the World Heavyweight Champion, damn it, and kudos to him. And he sold the bejesus out of that, because he was on the floor for like an hour before he actually took the belt, and before he got to his feet to celebrate. And then as soon as he got to his feet, that's when Seth Rollins' theme music kicked in. And then the crowd started cheering, they started the wooing, but then Seth came out on the crutches. So I was like, okay, so he's basically here just to remind you that he's the Money in the Bank briefcase holder. And I'm like, okay, this is how they get Seth Rollins on the show or whatever, just to keep the feud going, to keep his relevance going, his relevancy going. So they just want to remind him. And then he came out on crutches. He had the knee brace on. Paul Heyman had the briefcase. But then Seth turned around. He told Punk, he was like, watch your back, you're on borrowed time. And then he turned around and started like hobbling away. And then he stopped. He threw the crutches to the floor, took off the knee brace, and then revealed that either he was never hurt to begin with, and this was all a ruse, or he was hurt and it wasn't as serious as like he got hurt. He probably tweaked his knee for a little bit. The doctor was like, oh, you'll just be out maybe like 2 or 3 weeks. And then Triple H and them was like, fuck it, let's turn it into a storyline and say you got hurt longer. It's either one of 2 things, obviously, but we were all fooled because we thought he wasn't coming back no time soon. They were even calling Braun Breaker the leader of the group and like all this other stuff. Rollins ran down to the ringside, beat him with the briefcase, gave it to Jessica Carr. She rang the bell. He cashed in Money in the Bank, hit the curb stomp, pinned him, and Seth Rollins is now the World Heavyweight Champion. And for Seth Rollins, it's full circle because the whole thing with him, Punk, and Drew, where he got cashed in on, it now happened, and then Damian Priest, Damian Priest coming in, it now happened to him. Seth Rollins basically was, between the Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, Seth Rollins thing at WrestleMania 2 years ago, Seth was the one who drew the short straw, and he was the one looking like a complete idiot coming out of that whole thing. But he learned from that. He took that situation and he flipped it to where he became the Damian Priest. You know what I'm saying? Like he flipped it on everybody. So yeah, I mean, that saved the show for me. And thank you for tuning in, because I was very the tag team match in the beginning. It was good, but I didn't like the outcome. You know, the Carrie and Cross Sami Zayn match was good, didn't like the outcome. The tag team match, the women's tag team match, didn't like the outcome. The women's WWE Heavyweight Championship match, damn sure didn't like the outcome. And the celebrity jelly roll thing, I didn't care. This was the best thing on the show. So if we're talking about the rewatchable factor for night one of SummerSlam, we're talking about the rewatchability factor. If I ever rewatch this pay-per-view, I'm pretty much only gonna watch the last match. Like I'm not gonna watch anything else. I don't want to see Tiffany Stratton reign supreme, and I don't want to see like it was like Blonde Night if you were if you were a female, but yeah, but I mean overall. But even taking my bias out of it, it was a decent show, but it didn't have like the wow factor. The only thing that made you pop, the only thing that gave that surprise wow factor was the main event with Seth Rollins cashing in. But let me know what you thought about night one of SummerSlam. What were your thoughts? What were your questions, comments, and concerns? And we'll continue to talk about it. Check me out all over social media. Check me out on YouTube. Check me out on TikTok. Check me out on X. Check me out on Instagram where you can leave your questions, comments, and concerns. Check out my videos for New York Swim Week that are up on my channel. If I can't get y'all to watch a swimsuit fashion show, there's something wrong with the world. But we're gonna review night 2 of SummerSlam, and that'll be up on my channel as well. So that was it, guys. So thanks for tuning in. So till night 2, signing out for the best in the world and for the architect. Until next time, we're out this bitch.